I'm not. Can you hear me okay? It's good to see you. Make sure I'm not sure. Let me double check and make sure my AirPods. It says my AirPods are connected. Can you hear me? Matrix, hi. Going to bed again, yeah. Um, yeah, it is just after 2 a.m. I'm usually not awake at this hour. But boy, what a day I just had. And it's just wild. Um, and I just kind of wanted to share it with somebody, even if it's just for a few minutes. It's good to see you. How are you doing, Matrix? Um, right now, I'm currently out in Palm Springs. I'm working at the transgender center out here this week to cover for the RN that trained me when I first started last month. And it's 5 a.m. there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a little wired right now just because the evening I just had was absolutely incredible. I'm talking a little low because I'm staying in a friend's apartment and I don't want to disturb him. He's trying to get some rest. Same foot still healing. Keep on healing, Matrix. You're going to get there. Trust me, you will. It's There's so much happened this evening. It's just wild. Just staying with my friend here in Palm Springs. His apartment is literally two turns. It's going to take me 3 minutes to get to work in the morning from here, which is what I wanted. While I enjoy my drive, my 1 hour drive from Riverside into Palm Springs through the desert, um, the gas mileage was killing me. I can manage in my little Kia Soul X line to get about 35 miles to the gallon coming out here. But leaving, I'm facing winds, high winds, because I'm literally driving from Palm Springs, just out here in Coachella Valley is where we have a huge wind farm. Um, with When I was a little kid, I just called them the fans, because this is three blade propeller looking things that they use that catch the wind, and they use that to generate power for the state. Well, driving west, I'm driving against those winds, and so while I can get 35 miles to the gallon coming out here, second graft done already, Matrix. Oh, wow. I know this is a lot, but I'm excited for you because this means healing for you. And this is going to be amazing for you once you're all done with that. I see I've got 7 viewers here. Welcome in. I am Dawn Gloves. It's my alter ego. My name is Pamela. I'm a registered nurse and I live in Southern California. If you're new to my channel, um, and I love my lurkers. But if you don't mind saying hi and who you are and where you're from, I would love to know who's in the chat with me. And if you could also take a moment and just double tap that screen to like the content, if you're enjoying the little conversation we're going to have here for the next few minutes. And also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you, everybody that is here watching. I appreciate you being here, spend a little time with me. Um, I don't come on regularly, and I believe it was Wednesday when I was driving out to work. I tried to do a live, and my phone overheated in the blazing hot sun, and that I seemed to be driving directly into, leaving Riverside and coming out to Palm Springs that morning. When I left Riverside, it was approaching 80, and that was at 9 a.m. And by the time I got out to Palm Springs out here, it was already 95 at 10 a.m. On Wednesday, which is just wild. On Thursday, we hit, I believe, 104 was the top temperature. It's only May, y'all. Um, I'm trying really hard not to think about what June, July, and August are going to be like, but it's already. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, this is going to be a short one because I too need to go to sleep as I'm staying at a friend's in Palm Springs. I can manage on 6 hours sleep, and so if I go to sleep at 3 or 6, wake up at not perfect, and it only takes me 3 minutes to get from my friend's apartment here to my job. Or literally, I'm going to leave. I'll make 2 left turns and I'll be at work. And Eric, love it. Hi, my love. How are you? Oh, I've missed you. It's so good to see you. Yeah, I'm all the way out in Palm Springs now. I'm 2 hours away from you now. I hope you've been well. Yeah, I'm staying out at a friend's in Palm Springs because I'm working out here this week. And the gas. Cricket is doing good. I am in constant communication with her, text and on through Facebook. She's doing good. She's actually been quite busy. I know last week she's the friend that she's been staying with. She works at a bakery, which got really busy this weekend. So Cricket was actually helping her out with that. She's good. And then I'm going to get on her, get her back on here because I was looking actually for it. I went live to see when she had left. Cricket is very happy right now. She is. Um, and I think it's actually doing good for her to be with her bestie right now. And she and her bestie have been super busy. So, but she's good. And I'll let her know that you asked about her, Joanne. Um, So, well, I don't want to stay on here too long because, like I said, I do need to get some sleep before I head into work. And unfortunately, I don't have to be there until 10. And it's 2:15 here right now. And yeah, today was something else, guys. First of all, more on the new job. I love it. If you don't know, as a registered nurse, I am working in a center that provides gender affirming care services for the transgender community. And I got into this at the encouragement from a dear friend of mine that passed away last year, my friend Danny. And if you check my previous videos, there's one from last fall where I pay tribute to Daisy and talk about how much she meant to me. She had encouraged me. She was actually this last year. She was in training just started training to become an electrologist to do electrolysis, hair removal, and was going to be working for the same center that I'm working at. And she had told me, they hire RNs to do laser hair removal, and I had never had any interest in aesthetics. And I don't have anything against individuals who want to have, certain services to so that they can feel better about themselves. Um, but the typical aesthetic spa settings here the clients tend to be really vain and kind of entitled and just not fun people to be around. And I just felt drawn to that. But when Daisy told me that I could do those same things, but for the transgender community, where I am helping individuals who just, they genuinely don't feel right in their bodies, and it's to the point where a lot of them are suicidal because what they feel about themselves on the end doesn't match what they have. Yes, Cricket does deserve rest. I agree, Sophia. Um, the bottom line for me, especially when my Daisy came out to me 2 years ago, is that I believe that gender affirming healthcare is saving care, because a lot of these people have considered suicide because they can't stand the body that they're in because it doesn't match who they feel they are on the inside. And so that was an aspect of aesthetics that made sense to me. And so when she told me about that, I read about that at the time. I was in a job that I did enjoy, and I didn't feel I was ready to time. And then last August, she passed away. We found out she had cancer, and she passed away mid-August last year. But I always kept her words in the back of my mind. And this past February, when things kind of took a turn at my job, and I realized that my clinical manager had zero respect for me, and I had to explain to her that things weren't working out for me anymore, and I was going to have to exit. I was grateful to have had that information that my friend Daisy had given me, and I immediate to work at the center out here, and interviewed in March, and actually started in April. So now that I've been at my new job, I love every minute of it, to the point where I don't actually feel like I'm working. It's that kind of love that I have for my job and for the clients that I'm taking care of. We have three areas. We have Palm Springs, we have Riverside, and we have San Diego. And in the last month, I've worked all three. I was in San Diego on Monday, which was fantastic. It was nice and cool down there. It was in the mid 80s, and it was a great day there. I got to meet more of the members team down there, as well as a bunch of just absolute beautiful clients that I met that day. And afterwards, in a previous story, I talked about Eric. There are a lot. You would be surprised how many individuals I've met that are on the spectrum. And yes, there are people on the spectrum that I have met, and a lot of amazing people. It is very rewarding to learn. I am loving what I'm. It's just this truth, the adage that if you find do something that you love and you'll never work a day in life. That's how I feel right now. Like if it's a nonprofit, if their funding were to be yanked right out from under them at any time, I would still continue to do what I'm doing for this community, because I believe in it, and I would just volunteer part-time and pick up a contract somewhere else for the rest of the days, so that I can pay my bills. But I mean, I believe in it, and I enjoy doing it that much. So, but of course, we do pray that nothing happens to the funding to get them to that point. But things are a little shaky right now in this current political and financial climate that we're dealing with here in the United States. But I could go on about that, and I don't want to. I want to focus on how much I love what I'm doing, and the opportunities to meet fantastic people I have had in the last month. But yes, on Monday after I worked, I had an opportunity that I think I did, an, must have been, I was in March. I did a video about finally meet one of my cousins, a long lost cousin that I connected with through Ancestry. And he lives in San Diego. And so after work on Monday, I met up with him down at Mission Beach, and I have a short video of from Monday, the sunset that he and I got to watch. It was just a wonderful day. Um, just this kind of soul filling day. And then Thursday, yesterday to last night was another soul filling day in a completely different way. It was, and I've been, I don't even know if I have enough time to get into all of what it did for me, but it did a lot. It started with I had reached out to my friend who I had met through Daisy last year, and actually I met the day that passed. Na was Daisy's neighbor, and the apartment where I'm staying with him in is right across from the apartment where I said goodbye to Daisy passed away last August. And so that I met Na through Daisy, but on the day that she passed, absolute doll. I love this man. And he said, you know, if you ever need anything, let me know. If you need this, if you want to stay out here while you're working, let me know. And I sure did when I got my schedule to be working out here 3 days in a row. That hour drive, like I said, I love it, but the gas is killing me. I can get 35 here, 19 going home because of the headwinds. So I took him up on that, messaged him yesterday, and he said, sure, come on over, you can stay anytime, I told you. And so here I got off work today at 5 and headed right here. And I didn't realize exactly how close our office was to where he is, but I literally hit the GPS. It says turn right here, and right. It says turn right here, right. And I'm getting ready to message him to let him know on my way. And I'm like, oh, there's the apartments right there. I'm here. And Joanne, it was something else surreal. Hi, Kim. It is so good to see you. Oh my goodness, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Yeah, yeah, the whole ancestry thing. Do a series of videos on that. It is just wild how Jennifer found, and then because of Jennifer, she and I together were able to find the rest of our cousins. Well, they're my cousins. She, haven't been being adopted out of our family, and then find out that she has a sister and a brother, and nieces and nephews coming out of every corner. It was just absolutely thing. It's one of those things where you read about it or something, you see a documentary about it, but for it to literally actually happen to you, it's surreal. That was, yeah, an amazing experience, and I do want it more sometime because it's that whole experience with Ancestry, it changed a lot of things for me. Um, yeah, I'm trying to stay focused because I'm really tired. Not as tipsy as I was a little earlier. More on that. So this evening, when I got off work, 5 o'clock, 2 right turns, and got here to my friend's apartment, I get here and he's making dinner, and I kind of laughed because I was just like, "You're making dinner, fantastic!" And he was making, it's sort of like a, I can't remember, I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know those Greek little, I call them spinach pies that they make with the phyllo dough and cheese and spinach filling. It was like that, except for instead of spinach, he used broccolini and red and yellow bell pepper and vegetables, and with cheese, feta cheese, and mixed this all up and phyllo dough with that and baked it. Oh my gosh, it was so delicious. When this, after the live is over and it uploads, I'll add pictures of it. It was so delicious. He made his own balsamic glaze, right? Not store bought, because I would have bought this at something not as good, but not as good as what he made. You know, like Trader Joe's, and bought a balsamic glaze to put on it. He made everything right over here, and oh my goodness, it was so good. And I was like, I was just gonna go to Del Taco. Oh my goodness, it's just taking so much good care, such good care of me this evening, and I wasn't expecting. I was just like, dude, I just need to sleep on your couch, and you fed me. But he didn't just, you know, fill my stomach this evening. Just another friend um, that I met through Daisy uh, is actually also staying with him. His name is James, and I love James to pieces. The moment I first locked eyes on James back in March, I was just like, you're one of my people. And so he's staying here as well, and that was an absolutely delightful sight. Just the conversation and the beautiful meal the three of us had together. And then afterwards, I'm not even sure who came up with the idea. I think Nas said something about going drinks, and we all knew what that meant. There's a bar here in Palm Spring called Bar. There's actually like kind of a row of bars, and there's a nightclub and some restaurants, and it's all LGBTQ friendly, and it's just a fun place to hang out. And Street Bar is one of those places. Daisy are there um, at the front door, and so that's how all of them met her. At first, I knew Daisy from pre-transition. 1988 is when Daisy and I met, and so it's all these people just connected. Um, but we decided to head over there after our meal um, to have a couple of drinks. And then after that, we actually went across the street at another bar that had karaoke night. And quick fun fact, when I was a kid, I used to sing, and I loved singing. It like kind of, it was something that I kind of used to heal my soul. I didn't realize at the time that's what I was doing. But my father died when I was 4 years old, and we kind of had a hard time now because it just kind of left my mom lost. She had 3 children at the age of 10 at that point, and she was widowed, and she just felt kind of lost, and we all felt that in some way. Though my brother and I were too young to really understand what was going on. And then we were in Phoenix. So in Phoenix is a lot less where the temperatures creep up. Sometimes they creep and sometimes they just escalate rapidly. So an average day in the summer in Phoenix was 115 degrees. And the way I describe it is I was a poor little wilting flower, non-heat tolerant flower. out there in the Arizona desert. So in this time, I couldn't go out and play. My brother and I would get up early morning when it was a nice cool 90s, and we would probably run at my mom's water, and then we would have to go inside usually because I was starting to get sick. The heat would actually trigger migraines for me when I was 5 years old. It was not a very fun existence. So I, after a while, to where I was kind of heat phobic, I guess is a way to say it. I just refused outside during the day, and so I spent a lot of time inside, listening to LPs on my mom's big RCA hi-fi, and so I'm little. This is, a tall unit that sits up pretty high, and using a step stool so that it can get up to reach. My mom had taught. She got tired of putting records on for me, so she taught me how to do it. So I'm a 5-year-old, learning, kind of being a DJ almost. And, I knew how to count and select the track that I wanted, grooves and everything. But most of the time, I would just put an LP on and listen to all the songs there in front of them. I've got the jacket, and I'd open it up, pull out the liner notes. My favorites were the liner notes, the lyrics, because then I would literally sit there and sing along. And a lot of what I listened to was the Carpenters. Put a pin on that, and we're going to circle back to that in a moment. And Barbra Streisand, um, Barry Manilow, and the Bee Gees. There was a lot of Motown stuff, Buddha Records artists. Okay, Kim, thank you much for coming in, and I will catch you next time. Thank you, Kim, and I love your energy too. We need to catch up soon. You take care, okay? And I love you. But I sing along all of that stuff. Now imagine a young girl, she's 5, 6, this would have been up to age 7, and my grandmother moved us all out to California. But up to that point, I'm this young girl, and I'm basically teaching myself how to sing with Karen Carpenter, Barry Manilow, that can reach some baritone ranges, Barbra Streisand, whose range is absolutely insane. And then Motown, which a lot of those artists were male. They were tenor and baritone. And that's the range that I learned to sing in. And I loved singing. It was absolutely, it like recharged my batteries to just stand in the living room and sing. I mean, I had like my own little concerts. Just had a good old time. And then we moved to California. My grandmother put in a Christian school. I was raised as a Seventh Adventist, and they were really big on choir. Um, Not so much on big on choir, and so I would join the choir because I was, oh yeah, I like to sing. I'll join the choir, and they put me in the soprano section. I could soprano very well. I could kind of fake it, and most of the time I would kind of wiggle my way, position myself so that I was closer to the alto, so I would adjust and sing if I needed to feel more comfortable. But it didn't matter what choir I was in, how old I was, what I told the choir director or instructor. They always wanted to put me in the sopranos, and I never felt comfortable there. I didn't feel I sounded good there. So by the time I got to high school, I gave up. I quit. I'm like, these people aren't listening to me. and I didn't feel like I sounded good, and so I didn't want to do it anymore. So, um, yeah, I quit. And I want to say I was about 25. It's so much fun, Eric. The vinyl. And I've started building a new vinyl collection. Actually, has all of my mom's vinyl. He's out in Colorado now, but he used to DJ. So as far as I'm concerned, my mom's vinyl is like his inheritance. He gets to have that. But yeah, I have a turntable, and I've started rebuilding the vinyl collection because it's just fun. It's I don't know what it is about it. It's just fun. Um, when I'm in the car, of course, pulling up some music on a streaming service is it's perfectly fine as long as it's got a decent connection. For some, I've been having trouble with my Amazon Music account while I'm driving out. It just like randomly stop playing and refuse to play while I'm on the road. But other than that, I mean, because you can't have a record player in your car while you're commuting. And they don't even put CD players in cars anymore. I guess I could if I wanted to. But, it is what it is. You use Spotify, you use Amazon Music, and you download the stuff to your phone to get it to play. But yeah, playing vinyl is fun. I do remember in fact, my first car was a Mercury Sable. No, that wasn't the Sable. It was a Mercury something. I don't remember what it was. Mercury was a part of the Ford brand, and um, my car had an 8-track player in it, and that was 1989. Yeah. So, but it was a 1981 Mercury something or other. I think. Shoot, I can't remember what the model was. But yeah, I remember 8 tracks. My had he listened to funk music, which was kind of like an offshoot from soul and R&B, and he always had an 8 track. He had an 8 player in the house, and then and he had one car. Um, it was funny because if you're trying to start a track, a particular song, you have to keep pushing the button until it switches to the track that you're on. And it was so convenient, but there was just something about it that was special too. Yeah, I remember those. Um, so yeah, when as a young adult, I joined a gospel choir at my church, and once again, the choir director puts me in so like you're soprano. I said I'm not a soprano. You're soprano. It's incest. So in elementary school, the choir directors always wanted to arrange where we stood, but I didn't have to deal with that as an adult in the church gospel choir. Um, me within the soprano section, so I sat in the middle. So I had all the sopranos to my right, all the altos to my left, and I had the tenors behind me. And shift depending on the song and the key it was in, and all the technical stuff in order to be comfortable. But I could sing the lower of the soprano music. I could sing pretty much all of the alto, and I could sing the higher end of the tenor. Why is this man trying to insist that I'm a soprano? Because clearly I'm not. I felt what I understand now more in a range that's called mezzo soprano, and a little lower than that, even contralto. So back to the Carpenters. Karen Carpenter's voice, for someone of her size, it's just so it was just absolutely amazing. And I mean, there's been no one that can even come close to the magic of her voice. Um, but she was considered a contralto. There's, when you look at a keyboard piano where there's middle C, I can hit that note perfectly, easily, without any effort. Um, a soprano would be able to go from middle C at least 2 more octaves towards high C. I can't do that. What I can do is from middle C, I can go up 1 octave, maybe an octave, and still be comfortable. But I can also go down an octave almost. Kimberly Gabaldon, hi! It's so good to see you. I'm so here. This is a really late one for me. I've just had a while, and I was just trying to explain a little bit. I just want to get it off my chest a little bit and hopefully be able to sleep so I can go to work at 10 o'clock. It's 2:42 local here in California right now. It wasn't a Capri, or it wasn't as big as a grandmother actually had the Grand Marquis. Driving that was like navigating a boat. It were sedan. I want to say Monarch. I think it was a Mercury Monarch, which was something that they had. I think it was like late 70s, early 80s. I want to say it was a Mercury Monarch, but don't quote me on that. I'd have to. But where was I? Got lost. No, I haven't heard of her, and I'll have to check that out. Thanks for that. Because that's one thing I've been doing in the last few weeks. I kind of started on this journey of I don't be a soprano, damn it. And rediscovering my love for singing. And I almost did karaoke tonight. That's part of the magic of that, what happened tonight, and some of the awesome people that tonight. Because after we left we had a drink at Street Bar, and then we went across the street because James wanted to do some karaoke, and I was almost ready to do it, and then I got to two people who I'm calling the right people, three that I'm calling the absolute right, because what they did for me was validate something I had learned, something I'd have probably always known in my heart, but I started exploring again 3 weeks ago. I had been watching videos. There's some YouTubers they're millennial artists, and they have channels where they do reaction videos to artists from back in the day. And I learned about one of them I had been watching for a while, and then I saw he had done a reaction to the Carpenter rendition of Superstar. And his take on Karen Carpenter's vocals kind of got me thinking, and so I started exploring some other YouTube versions to her vocals. And then one said something that it just opened my eyes. All this thinking that I'm supposed to be a soprano because everybody else in the world is telling me I'm a soprano, and I know I'm not a soprano. And so instead of fighting and doing what I need to do, I just quit. And then this one particular YouTuber, and I can't think of her name right now. If I do later, if I can remember, I will put a video that kind of triggered me here, description. But she can't help but love. Will definitely check that out. We're if you I have the overlay up, and if you are also if you're on your phone, you should just overlay. But I know, you know, sometimes I would joke with it about Chatception, where she would have the overlay up like I do, and if I had the chat on my Roku TV, they would overlap and drive me absolutely insane, and I would call it in. So if you're watching on a TV or something, you might need to turn off the chat there and just see the overlay that I have attached to the live. Yeah, I will definitely get Diana on Duke Nova. Can't help yeah, this one particular singer and instructor, she was talking about Karen Carpenter's voice and her being a contralto, and just breaking it down in technical terms. And I'm listening, and I'm like, wait a second, hold up, because I with Karen Carpenter singing when I was 7. If I can do that, I can sing. And she's not a soprano, so that means I'm not a soprano. These people were trying to kill me in my dream, and I almost let them, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Damn it, I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing songs, sing out loud. I'm going to sing it strong. You're on your Android phone, huh? That's strange. Um, huh. Several times overlapping, and I'm pretty sure it's because I have the overlay on. I can turn it off, but what I like about the overlay is that if the because I'm using Restream, sometimes the after live when it uploads, the live chat doesn't work right, and so that's what kind of like using the overlay. But if it's going to drive you nuts, and there's just I think just the 5 of us in the chat right now, I can turn the overlay off for now. Okay. Let me know if that fixes that for you. Because if you're on Android, you shouldn't be having that trouble. But yeah, so that was kind of my first realization. And so then I started pulling up stuff that I had listened to way back when and started singing and just trying to refoster my love for that. And it was working. And so tonight, when we went over to the second bar for karaoke, I met a woman. I met 3 people. So one is a singer who was actually really, really great, and I was enjoying listening to him sing. It turns out, he's out here in Palm Springs. He's from Red. So we exchanged information, so we could probably meet up at a karaoke bar around home sometime soon. And then another woman who has actually worked with, she works with some major artists as a backup vocalist, and she's a vocal coach. And I told her, well, you're my vocal coach because I need you. I need to learn things. And with them, we were sitting out on the patio, and the gentleman that lived near me, he said, okay, so I want you to match me. And so he sang some tones, and I sang them and matched him perfectly. And so she said, okay, match me. And she did the same thing, and she went from low up to high, and I matched her. I'm a mezzo soprano, y'all. I'm not a soprano. Mezzo soprano is if you take a 3 octave range, but you step it down an octave, um, from alto, and that's where I am, and I'm comfortable there. And after I matched him, I was stunned, and then when I matched her, I burst into tears, y'all, because they both sat there and they looked at me and they're like, "You can sing, and you sound great." And I was just, I guess it was something that I always knew in my heart, but I lacked confidence about it, and to have somebody validate that for me from outside. This is just, normally I don't need somebody to validate outside. I know myself, I know my heart, but this is where I've always been uncomfortable because of the nonsense that people that I thought knew put into my head. And so to have these two people, one who was my professional, tell me that I was doing just fine, it was like my wings had been bound and somebody set me free. And I literally, I just broke down. And they were just like, what's wrong? I said, no, you don't understand. You just liberated me. You just gave me something that I didn't think I would ever have. So that was my night. How was your day? It was just absolutely wonderful. It was wonderful learning that the third person that I met actually is in musical theater out here in Palm Springs. And she said, well, you should come on the 31st. We're there to have auditions at the such and such theater. And we exchanged information and she sent me the link and I'm going to work on it. And um, I'm going to go and check it out and see. And they might tell me to kick rocks and I'd be like, okay, well, can I at least, be like a set nurse or help you with costumes or something? Just to be around this area. And I'm like, I do a chorus. I don't have to have a part or anything. I'd be perfectly fine having fun in a chorus that I would have done in high school, except that they burnt me out with this whole you're a soprano crap, and I didn't even try to audition when we did shows. It was high school. You are right, Joanne. My body and soul were tonight, and I'm full. I am so full. This was an absolutely one day, and I'm really glad you guys tuned in with me so I could share it with you. Thank you so much. Between soprano, yeah, that's exactly where I am, and actually because I can't sing tenor. Um, yeah, because that's when I was in the gospel choir and this crazy. I loved Bobby so much, our choir director at the church. Um, but he would get so wound up and caught up and emotional, and of course, it being a black church gospel, we weren't done until we had everybody worked up into a frenzy and crying and dancing around in the aisles and whatnot, and acquired vocal modulations where we would be in one key and then we would step up and step up and step up. So you've already got me trying to sing with the sopranos where I was naturally uncomfortable. So every time he would modulate up, I would either stay where I was or modulate back down. And so, the sopranos are too high. I'm an alto now. Altos, you've got them straining their voices. I'm not doing it. Now I'm a tenor. I was telling my friend, I was like, I just did what I had to do to survive. um, so, um, anyway, I wanted to share with you. I'm going to be sharing more. You might even get to hear me sing now. Um, because I want to build my confidence in that. And that's going to require me actually, reading myself and getting used to hearing the sound of my voice. Doing this has helped a lot, just getting used to the sound of my voice when I replay my videos. And so now I need to do that with singing. And I just want to have fun with it. I'm not out to be, the next Karen Carpenter or anything. I just want to have fun and to do something that gave me an emotional outlet. I want to get back to that again, and I just want to enjoy it. That's all. And and really just see where it takes me. Yeah, Kimberly, I do think it's cool too. Today was a good day. So, anywho, thank you guys for joining me. It's coming up on 3, and I really should try to get some sleep. Um, so, I'm going to end and sign off. Thank you so much. If you haven't hit the like button, I'm in Restream right now, and it's weird. It's like I forgot how to use it because it's been so long. I got to start doing this more regularly. Um, yeah, hit subscribe if you are not subscribed, and turn on the notification bell so when you can see when my yes, Eric, thank you so much. That is exactly what I intend to do. Do what you love and be where it goes. Thank you so much for that, my friend. And yeah, stay tuned for more. All right, night night, Kimberly. And I'm gonna cricket and see if we can get her back on here. She's doing good though. I've been communicating with her, and we're gonna get her back on here. I was with cricket, because y'all cricket can sing, and she plays around on her channel. But when we were on that cruise, she did a lot of nights of karaoke, and we were always at the piano bar, and that girl can sing. So I'd actually like to collaborate with something on her just for fun. So thank you, Joanne. I'm looking to share some more stuff with you. I'm excited, and it's time. I'm 55 years old. It's hot time. This stuff just for me, right? So I'm gonna do that. So okay, thank you again for joining me for this little here, and you guys have a good night. Get some sleep. What are you guys doing up so late? It's fast. Go to sleep. All right. I love you all, and I will see you next.